April 17th through April 23rd. So if folks want to share in the chat or unmute yourself, what is one thing that your organization is doing for Volunteer Appreciation Week? Go ahead and shout it out if you want. I know we are going to kind of put together a big thank you video from like different staff members in different departments, which should be fun.
At Literacy Connects, we're having a big volunteer appreciation event on our campus. And the invites or the RSVP link went out yesterday, and complete with food and music and a bar and everything else.
Ooh, nice.
So we're getting excited about it.
I think I should start volunteering at Literacy.
Yeah, come volunteer with us. We need volunteers.
Georgette says that they're hosting a dog-friendly lunch with giveaways for all of our volunteers and their therapy dogs. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds so pleasant and good. Mary says volunteer appreciation event at the zoo. PCOA service areas will have unique appreciation activities in their area. That's awesome.
We'll be doing at Lutheran Social Services a virtual event that we did last year. It went over really well. So we're going to do that again this year and see how it goes.
Nice, that's awesome.
At ICS, we're shifting away from the drive-through appreciation, which we've done the last couple years, and we're doing an in-person event similar to Robin's. Yeah, and music and food and program appreciations for everybody. Looking forward to it.
That's exciting. Carrie Dean says that the Reed Park Zoo is having a volunteer appreciation dinner with giveaways and animal guests. That's awesome. Sounds like a very fun event.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is taking our bigs out to the Sugar Skulls indoor football game that weekend. Hopefully with food and drink, but we'll see.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for sharing. It's going to be a fun week. A lot of great stuff that our volunteers are doing. So kudos to them. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Meredith Bode and Liana Sharp, both of who work at United Way and are on the board of SAVMA. Meredith is the chair of program and events. So snaps for all the hard work you put into all the events we do. And Liana is chair of our membership committee. So snaps for helping bring on new members. And with that, I'll turn it over to you two.
Thanks, Alex. Let me go ahead and share my screen and get our presentation up and running. Okay, can everybody see that okay? Mm-hmm. Yes, great. Okay. So welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. Really, Leanne and I just want to let you guys know kind of where our volunteer center is going and some of the new things that we have in place and where we intend to go in the future, because we really want it to be a meaningful center for not only volunteers, but also organizations in the community. So we'll just take a couple minutes to introduce ourselves. Obviously, I'm Meredith Bode. I'm the Director of Community Engagement at the United Way. I've been there about 7 years and have jumped around in different capacities, but have always overseen the Days of Caring, all of our events, and now the Volunteer Center. And we were excited to bring Leanna in September to kind of be able to increase our efforts in the Volunteer Center. So I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself.
Yeah, so I'm Leanna Sharp. As Meredith said, I came in September. I am the Community Engagement Manager. So I mainly work with Meredith on all of the events, and Days of Caring was actually the first event that I did, and I loved it. And then of course, I think 3 days after I started, we did the SAVMA event at the zoo. So that was fun too. But I absolutely love working at United Way and getting to learn about all the different volunteer opportunities that we provide.
So just a brief overview of the different ways that our volunteer center works within our community. Number one, we have what we call our golden platform, which is our volunteer.unitedwaytucson.org. I would assume that most of you are fairly familiar with that, either with submitting projects for just Days of Caring or using it throughout the year. But for those of you who don't know that it can be used aside from Days of Caring, it is a free tool for any organization that wants to use it to recruit volunteers, and we'll obviously be going over that today. We also have Days of Caring, which in a normal non-COVID year, we typically engage about 4,000 volunteers to help a number of nonprofits and schools and neighborhood associations throughout our community to complete projects. This last year, we had about 2,500 volunteers, and I believe we finished about 86 projects. We also just started sending out a monthly volunteer newsletter, and that includes different impact numbers from the past month, volunteer features. We highlight other nonprofits. Leanna will talk a little bit more about the newsletter and how you can get involved and benefit from that as well. And then we also are really big on partnerships and collaborations, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. But really wanting to bring together folks to create a greater impact here in our community. So Leanna's going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Golden platform.
So Golden, as Meredith said, is the platform that we use for all of our volunteer opportunities. It is extremely easy to use once you just go through the tutorials and learn how to do it. As the slide says, though, you can schedule your volunteers through email, social media, text, your own website, or the app itself. And you can reach out to potential volunteers on Golden as well. So you can download the app. Is it still for iPhone only, Meredith, or?
I don't know yet.
Okay. I believe when I started, it was for iPhone only. So sorry for Android users if that hasn't been updated. Hopefully they get it. But you can also do it through the website, which is the main way I use it. I actually don't even have the app, so.
And the one thing to note about that is the administrator dashboard is at this point not available on the app. It's just the volunteer portion that's available on the app.
So there's a couple different volunteer recruitment types, and those of you who are familiar with Golden know how this works. You can do a one-day volunteer opportunity, which just helps for special events and team opportunities. So a lot of them that we see are like the diaper bundling from the diaper bank. Some of them are for the what is that, Tour de Tucson, the bike ride? Yeah. So those are also just one-day ones that have been going on in the past or have some in the future. There's ongoing direct service as well. This is where you can invite community members to orientations for your organizations and programs. As Georgette said, she just got an email from Golden that a new volunteer signed up for their orientation. So that's kind of that situation, as well as just ongoing opportunities as well that you can set up if they have different days or if it reoccurs once a week, things like that. Skills-based, I did see one earlier today when I was on Golden. It's recruiting volunteers who bring specific knowledge and skills with them. The one I saw, I believe, is an administrative assistant, but there are obviously a lot of broad skills out there that you can post if you're looking for something specific. And then, of course, there's in-person opportunities, which hopefully a lot of us have these days, not so much virtual, but of course, this means it is in person. It's a specific location, coordinates are needed, and it's certain days and times versus virtual, which is people can do it whenever. I know for Days of Caring last year, we still did do it yourself on your own time. Kindness Rocks, Sidewalk Chalk for positive messaging, and clean up your own neighborhoods. And really easy to start. If a lot of you have Golden, you've already done this, but you just go to, is Is that's it? Yeah, sorry, I got confused. I just type in volunteer, but that's ours. You go to unitedwaytucson.org/volunteer and then find out where you can register your organization, or you can email Meredith or myself. And then you just fill it out. Super easy. First name, last name, your email address, your organization website, and the type of organization. And then we highly suggest doing the tutorials. I still do them because there's sometimes people who ask me, how do I do this? And I don't know, because I've only been here 6 months and I'm still learning as well. So they're extremely helpful. And then support for Golden. Like I said, watch the tutorials. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to Audrey at Golden or just their support team. They are super fast with responding unless it's a holiday, but typically they get back to you within the day. Meredith and myself can also help, but if you have in-depth questions, we do suggest just talking with the support team at Golden.
Okay, so a couple of things to talk, but did you want to go through the site at all right now, or you want to wait, Leanna?
If you'd like, I can go through it right now. I have it ready to be pulled up.
Okay, let me go ahead and stop sharing.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can do this smoothly without any issues. Maybe not. Hold on. Sorry. All right. So can you see that it's golden?
It
No.
says your screen sharing, but we don't see anything.
Let's see. Hold on. My computer has just frozen.
No worries.
So I might have to restart it. Yeah, it won't let me click anything.
Let me stop your sharing.
Yes, please.
I can do that on my end. There we go. What I can do is go ahead and pull it up on my computer here.
Yeah, you guys aren't frozen, but everything else in my entire computer is.
Okay, let me go ahead and pull it up.
Classic.
While we're waiting, does anybody have any specific questions surrounding Golden, or have you had any experiences with Golden?
I have a question, Mayor.
Sure.
When you post or edit an opportunity on the Golden site, how long does it usually take for them to approve it? Because they have to approve it.
It typically takes within 1 day. I found if there are any issues, if I email support and let them know that I'm kind of waiting, they'll approve it right away.
Okay, so like within 12 hours usually?
Typically, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is kind of your dashboard once you get logged in. One helpful reminder that we typically see for folks trying to access Golden is that they go to the front page where folks go to look for opportunities instead of the back end, which is what we call the dashboard. So you'll want to note that this link up here is dashboard2.goldenvolunteer.com. That's going to get you into the back end so that you can add your opportunities. If you go on the front end, you're not going to be able to access this. And we tend to see folks that get a little lost here. So basically you have your all your different options here on the left. When you open it up, it's automatically going to give you any specific things like, oh, hey, here's Randy. He wants to affiliate himself with United Way. So we're going to go ahead and approve him. And if you have any opportunities that have just completed, they're going to ask you for attendance, whether or not folks have attended. If you have that information, you can approve folks. And there's other just tasks that may come up that will be right on your dashboard here. If you have any upcoming events, they'll be listed here as well. Obviously, mine is a lot different because we are looking at the entire site. But if you want to add an opportunity, you would just go here to this opportunities page, and you just hit my opportunities. Mine might freeze too. There we go. So up here on the right hand corner, you just hit that create opportunity button. Super easy to add an opportunity. It's going to walk you through all the steps. It's going to ask you if it's an in-person or a virtual opportunity. You can also put something in that is more of like an on your own time. So you don't necessarily have to put in a location. Folks can complete it and you can put a deadline in there. It's also really easy to add different dates and times. If it's the same opportunity, but just different days and times, you can easily add that in as well. You can change the capacity. It does like to ask you 3 things that that aren't necessarily typical, but I think make a lot of sense, which it's going to ask you what the role of your volunteers is, what the vibe is, which I think is actually kind of fun. So you can let folks know if it's more of like an independent or if it's social, so people know kind of what they're getting into and what the purpose is. Why is it important that they do this volunteer activity? So once you have that information up, anything that you have active, you can easily see in your opportunities. You can also click on it and see how many folks have signed up, who has signed up. You can easily change in any information, and any folks who have already signed up that will get notifications that you've changed the time or the location. And you can also message your volunteers that have signed up right through the system. Some other great features that Leanna and I find helpful is the insights section. So you can go to the insights. Ours obviously will show up quite differently because we have all of the different organizations associated with ours, but you're going to be able to see how many participants have signed up for your opportunities, how many hours, the amount of money that they basically are saving you, and different sessions. You can narrow that down by date range and opportunity type. Lots of different ways to do that. And you can also export this information.
Which exporting is actually the best way to get an accurate reflection. Even though it says that there's almost 3,000 participants, that might not be correct just because of the way Golden shows their numbers. So exporting it is the best way to get an accurate reflection, and Golden is working on updating it so it shows up more accurately on this page.
And then another feature that they added not too long ago here on Golden is that you can specify when folks are signing up, whether or not they're with a group. You can add that, you can custom add that, or they can add that on their own. And that's another way to narrow it down. So if you had Geico come for a volunteer opportunity and folks all selected Geico, you could easily tell Geico, hey, we had 10 people come to this opportunity and they completed this many hours. So that's super helpful in just giving information back to the folks who are volunteering with you. And the other good thing that I want to mention about Golden is that they're fairly new in this type of world. However, they're incredibly responsive and they really want to make the site work. So they're always taking a lot of feedback into consideration, speaking with their engineers, and then revamping their site pretty often to reflect the feedback that they've received from all of their customers. There have been a lot of specifics that we've given them based on our Days of Caring event that they have put in place for us. And so it's easy for them to kind of pull that in. And that's what's nice about working with kind of a smaller company. Anything else that you want to say about navigating the site, Leanna?
No, it is fairly easy once you get around in there and play around with it some. Honestly, that's the fastest way I learned how to use it when I started.
I'm going to go ahead and go back to our.
We have a
PowerPoint.
question in the chat from
Sure.
Beverly. Oh, sorry, Robin.
Oh, go ahead. I have a question, but I'll just say it verbally afterwards.
This person, Beverly Candlelighters, family something, family camp, asks, can one reuse old opportunities that recur from one year to the next?
I believe you can. I think you can access it and either copy it, or you can just change the date altogether and it should repopulate. The only thing you would have to do is note the volunteers that have signed up for previous years. So when you export that particular opportunity, you're probably going to get your volunteers who have volunteered in the past, but by sorting your export, you'd be able to see the date they signed up and take those folks out. Any other questions?
I was just wondering, like for organizations like Literacy Connects, where it's a long commitment, it's not a one-off event. Are there options in there that's like, this is an ongoing recruitment for volunteers for these programs?
Yes, we talked to Golden about that not too long ago because it's not super clear how to fill that out, but you would fill out do you remember what it's called, Leanna?
I do this, Meredith. This is because that's all we have. Is we don't have one-day events. We only have our long-term one going, and it does work pretty well. Is this? I think it says, is this an ongoing opportunity or something like that? And that option is there, because that's the only one we pick. We don't do day of events.
Yes, so when you go in, you would select the option that doesn't narrow you to a date and time. It gives you the option to give like a deadline, and you could always edit that deadline if that one post is still serving you.
Looking like on Golden itself, like it looks like that's the flexible timing and location.
Exactly, yes. So obviously this is a free service. So we just want to reiterate that when we first started this, we were charging nonprofits, but we really want it to be useful for you. And the other thing that we wanted to share is that now that we're growing the volunteer center, we're going to be putting more money into marketing Golden. So we hope to see more volunteers coming onto the site so that it is more beneficial to use. So we really would hope that you would take advantage of the free opportunity. We also share opportunities that are on Golden on our Facebook page. Leanna will talk about it a little bit more, but we had Literacy Connects really needing help for recruiting volunteers for the Festival of Books. So we went ahead and sent that out and got all that information out and put it in our newsletter. Hopefully that helped. Robin, I'm not sure if you know where your volunteers came from, but we're always happy to help recruit and to share anything that's on Golden. And as I mentioned before, Golden is continually working to create a more useful site and adding new features. One of the things we have been talking to them about is to create a more robust export system for tracking purposes. So they're working on that, and also a capacity, showing a capacity. So currently if there's an opportunity that needs 20 people, you can't see the total. So if somebody's going to sign on and they have 5 folks, they may not know whether or not there are enough spaces for their group. So that should be added fairly soon. And then outside of Golden and just the volunteer center related, we're hoping to launch a Facebook group, volunteer center Facebook group. And really, we want to be able to post all kinds of different volunteer opportunities throughout Tucson and Southern Arizona. So we would love to help push anything that you guys need pushed out, and also to pull volunteers into that group as well. And obviously we want to have more collaborations, more events, and more opportunities to increase your visibility and to just get more of our community involved in volunteering, especially families and children, because I feel like that tends to get a little bit left behind.
Meredith, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Oh, this is Tori. Can we, as SAVMA, use it as board and committee recruitment?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about the volunteer centers hope to have more partnerships and collaborations. So the mission of United Way is uniting people, ideas, and resources to build a thriving community. And we want to continue that with our volunteer center. We really believe that collaborating is how we're going to make the greatest impact in our community. And so we do have a couple of existing partnerships over the years, of course, SAVMA being one of them. But we also recently partnered with Tucson Clean and Beautiful and the city of Tucson to do a team up to cleanup. So basically there are monthly cleanups throughout the city. And Tucson, the city of Tucson actually organizes those, but we help to recruit volunteers for that. And so it's been a really great partnership. We also partnered for Days of Caring to clean up the Santa Cruz Wash. And that was, a huge impact. And they actually cleaned up the wash over a period of time, all the way down from the border up into Marana. So it was a really big effort, and it was just it was great to be a part of that and just to come together and collaborate on that. And then we're working on a new partnership with the Children's Museum. And some of those partnerships are where we have a lot of groups coming to us because of our workplace campaigns that say, hey, we want to do a day of service with all of our employees, or we have a group of folks that we want to volunteer. Do you have opportunities? And what we like to do is go out into the community and find out which organizations have the capacity to host a group of volunteers. So for the Children's Museum, we're going to be partnering with them more for some of our workplace campaigns in our groups to focus on literacy and education efforts. So we're always open to new partnerships and collaborations. So if that's something that you're interested in partnering with United Way on, we're happy to, Leanna and I are happy to chat with you about that and see how it can be fruitful on both ends and also for the community. I'll pass it over to Leanna.
Hey, this is my baby. So the Volunteer United newsletter, I sent out a soft launch in November. It did okay for actually being sent the day before Thanksgiving. But what it is it is our newsletter dedicated to honestly all things volunteer. What we do with this, and Meredith, if you want to pull up the link I sent you real quick, I'm just gonna let Meredith share her screen because mine's not gonna.
Did you send it via the chat?
Through Teams.
Okay.
Just so I can show you guys exactly what the volunteer newsletter looks like. If you don't already get it, it goes out to over 6,000 people monthly. So if you'd like to be on that list to get it, please let me know. Or if you have information that you'd like to be sent out, also please let me know. I am always looking for more content to add to it. Sometimes it's just hard to get content such as upcoming opportunities if some of our partners don't have a lot, especially agency partnerships as well. So this is what it looks like. This was March's that I only worked half on, and then Meredith finished it up for me since I was on vacation. The first part just goes over what we do, and then we have a highlight section. This is where I will highlight past volunteer efforts. So for February, we had our business breakfast, and the Women United Affinity Group were really big volunteers for that. As you can read, it says more than 300 attendees, and they raised more than $100,000. So that was great, and they did all of that in their free time. They didn't get paid for it. So for January, we did the MLK cleanup that we did. So anyway, we also do a volunteer profile. So last month I did Amber. She actually works with United Way. If you have any volunteers that you would like to highlight, please let me know. There's actually a button in this email that says click here to submit stories. And I would absolutely love that because the volunteer gets recognized, and I absolutely love being able to do that. We share upcoming opportunities. So as Meredith said, Tucson Festival of Books needed help. Robin, it looked like it helped. It looks like you were happy with the amount of volunteers you got with the thumbs up earlier. So that is good. If you guys have any upcoming opportunities that need volunteers, please let me know. We really like to add them. Otherwise, I just add what we have going on Golden. And right now it's not a lot. We also highlight upcoming events. So of course, Days of Caring is always going to be in there for a while. And then we also have the SAVMA Volunteer Recruitment and Recognition Fair in April. So that's in there. And then we do an agency highlight, which for the past several months has been SAVMA, because we don't really have a lot going on. So if anyone else has an agency that they would like to highlight, or if there's something going on, please send it my way. And that is that. Like I said, the Volunteer United goes out to over 6,000 people. So it is a really great source of information for potential volunteers, not only for United Way, but all of you as well. So as I mentioned, if you have opportunities, please let me know. We can get it done. It goes out the first Thursday of every month.
Okay, and then we just wanted to also let you guys know that the dates of this year's Days of Caring have been announced. It's going to be Friday, October 21st and Saturday, October 22nd. Project submission opens June 1st. We will still be offering in-person, on your own, or virtual opportunities. So if you're not quite ready to welcome volunteers in person on your property just yet, there's still lots of different opportunities for you to benefit from volunteers through Days of Caring. We do have quite a few organizations that do collection drives, and the on your own opportunities are great. Last year, we took advantage of that by doing neighborhood cleanups. And then, as Leanna mentioned, positive sidewalk chalk and kindness rocks. And we also, with Days of Caring, want to work on collaborations. I mentioned the collaboration we did cleaning up the Santa Cruz Wash with Tucson Clean and Beautiful and the city of Tucson. And so we would love to do something else and continue collaborations. And it doesn't just have to be with United Way as well. It can be with other nonprofits in town. So if you guys do a lot of collaborating with any other nonprofit, we would love to see that as well. A few years ago, we completely revamped the intersection over near Exo Roast, and that was through, I believe, the Arts and Cultural Association and a couple of other organizations here in town. So, and I think that's about it. Any questions? Alex.
Yeah, thank you. That was really informative. I actually didn't, despite having used Golden for Days of Caring, I didn't know about a lot of that. So thank you. I was wondering, so the platform we use at the community food bank is really English only. Like it's hard to do Spanish translation with it, like with the buttons and the plugins and things. I was just wondering if you've explored that at all with Golden and what your findings may or may not have been.
That's a great question. We haven't had that request, so we haven't done that yet, but I know that Golden would be incredibly responsive to that and trying to get something set up.
Solid. Yeah, we're trying to move more and more to like bilingual English, Spanish, everything, which is really good. Yeah, Robin, thumbs up. But our volunteer website is, we've like asked them and they're like, we don't do that. You can go to Google Translate, and we're just like, you know, come on. So thank you.
Of course, yeah, and we actually used to use that same system that you used, Alex. It's great for a lot of things, but we did switch over to Golden about 3 years ago from that site. So
that's so
I do feel that they would be incredibly responsive for that and help translate if you needed that help.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah, Alex, sounds like Robin is too. So we are having those discussions too. How do we be more diverse in our volunteer base? And that's one of the big ones about the language, Spanish language. So that's a great question. And it's neat that Golden is responsive to that. So who knows, maybe down the road, we'll see some changes like that.
Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, we'll go ahead and end early. But feel free to follow up with us. If you are interested in partnering, we'd love to have those conversations. And if you have any other questions that come up, please feel free to reach out.
Oh, I have one more question.
Yes.
How do we get things onto the newsletter again? Is it just by emailing you directly, Liana, or?
Yeah, and I'm actually putting our emails in the chat so everyone has them.
Awesome. Great.
Yes, please. I need content for April. So if you have something, please send it to me. I would be so happy.
I'll definitely be sending you an email. I've got some things cooking.
Excellent. Yeah, and of course, we'll be promoting the SAVMA fair at the zoo as well. And that'll be the big one in April. So
Sweet. Well, thank you, Meredith and Liana. Invitation, last call. Anybody have questions, thoughts, comments? Share out?
I want to know the name of Georgette's puppy.
This is Trilly. She's one of my two border collies. And they love being on Zooms, as you can tell. And she is named after a town in Ireland. So she says happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day, Trilly.
She's also one of our therapy dogs at Gabriel's Angels.
Amazing.
Thanks for asking.
It's always good to have a pet in the house, in the room.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you. This is great. Thank you, Meredith and Liana. I've been brainstorming how SAVMA can use this to recruiting committee board members and even our AmeriCorps program open position. So I hadn't even thought about that. So thanks. This has got opportunities for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing with the Episcopal Service Corps program in Tucson that I did a couple years ago called Beloved in the Desert. It's like, this could be a really great resource for posting stuff on that. And like the newsletter highlighting some of the work that Service Corps members are doing at different placement sites at ICS and Habitat and Food Bank. And so lots of gears turning. Thank you.
So actually, Alex, that made me think of, so our church is very involved in service things and service worship and stuff. Do you get some traction from churches, or is that possible? Is that not an issue for different events? Like where they help in the community? Is that possible? Churches can hook onto it? Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Sweet.
Anyone needing to recruit volunteers.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Awesome. Super
Okay.
cool.
I'll
Very
spread the-
versatile. Well, we'll end here. It was awesome to see everybody. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you in person in April. And it should be a really, really cool, really fun day. So happy Almost Volunteer Appreciation Week. Good luck and Godspeed with your volunteer program management. And let us know if how we can support y'all, or if you have any ideas for future topics, future things. Great. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Meredith.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Alex.
Anna.
Thank you, Meredith and Leanne and everybody. Good to see everyone.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Bye, Mary.